Yes, Assalamualaikum and very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever time that you are watching this video. So we have already discussed in the class, we have done about introduction on the interview a little bit. So this would be my last lecture on interview before you go on with the assessment, all right, for the assessment interview. The assessment will be done next week, all right, starting from Sunday until Thursday, and hopefully we can do the assessment in physical classroom. So you guys will be divided into groups and the question will be posted one by one. The assessment will be marked, will be assessed individually. All right, so I already explained many things about interview. This would be just some added values that could be what we call that for you to have extra knowledge before you go on with the interview assessment. All right, so I would love to what we call that to teach and to divide the interview session on how to get prepared with this kind of things. All right, I'll divide that into three, which is pre-interview, before you go for the interview, and during the interview. The last one would be post-interview, but the post-interview would not be done in our classroom, but that would be in your reality. How would you, we already talked about how to get feedbacks, how to get what we call that, get connected with the HR, asking them on how your position should be, so on and so forth. Okay, so now what do you think about pre-interview, during interview, post-interview? We will unpack this later on in the classroom, but for the pre-interview is the most important thing, where you should get prepared, like the one that we have discussed in the classroom, the one that you need to do, and the one that you need to get prepared with those questions, especially the one with the question with the what we call that, tell me about yourself. All right, I already given you the what we call that, my own formula on how to answer the ppf, as well as the what we call that, the adverbs, as well as the trigger words, on how to get intact with the interviewer. All right, the question must be asked, mesti akan disoal in the interview most of the time. All right, so pre-interview, during interview, and post-interview. All right, so as we have discussed again, that's why I said this is the one for your refreshment, to refresh back whatever things that you have learned last week. All right, you should know the employer, you should know the job description, you need to look sharp, be sharp, you need to have your resume. But in this case, you don't have to come up with the resume just yet. All right, resume will be explained in the classroom next week. Okay, the one that we have learned on resume, but it's just that we haven't done the assessment yet. All right, I want to compile everything so that it's easy for me to mark and to assess your assessment thoroughly. Okay, practice perfection and before you walk to the interview. All right, first of all, know the employer. We already discussed about this before, but in the assessment, you don't have to know the employer that much, because we just imagine I will pose you certain general questions. I will not go into deep into your what we call that, your field, into your whatever things that you've learned in the what we call that, in the university. But I would rather go for general questions and see how you respond and see how you answer. All right, remember, there will be no right or wrong answer. It's just the justification that you are making would matter. All right, the job description, as I said just now, I don't go deep into this thing. The question would be very general, and then I would not go for that particular, you have to become an engineer or manager or whatsoever. No. All right, look sharp and be sharp. As I said, first impression is everything. The one that I already taught you before in the classroom, the way you wear your blazer, the way you wear your tie, the way you dress up, the way you sit down. Paralinguistics, the para language is very, very important, the non-verbal language, because you could be judged on the way you are sitting. All right, maybe you are leaning back, maybe you are leaning down, or maybe you are sitting straight with the confidence, and so on and so forth. All right, choosing the right clothes, all right, choosing the right attire, choosing the right shoes, the one that we discussed, and so on. All right, your resume, we don't need to discuss on that one. Practice perfection, you cannot practice that much, except the only question that you can practice is tell me about yourself. You can hafal, all right, you can hafal and you can memorize and you can somehow understand on how to explain, all right, to make it very smooth sailing, all right, smooth sailing during the presentation or the interview, because that question should be asked, all right, most of the time, as I said. So you need to be very, what we call that, KISS, all right, KISS, keep it short and simple, all right. Let it be informational but not too boring, okay. And before you walk, prepare three thought provoking questions. Ask questions that reflect interest in the company's future. Ask questions and blah blah blah, basically about questions. I already taught you this in the classroom. Don't afraid to ask questions when you are in the interview, all right. You can ask questions, all right. Bukannya awak tak boleh tanya soalan langsung. Dan kebiasaannya, interviewer will give you some time, all right, and they will ask, do you have any questions? And that is the time where you can ask your question, maybe in terms of your salary, maybe in terms of your wages, maybe in terms of your position and job description, all right, anything that you want to ask. But in my case, because we are doing the assessment, please don't ask me anything. I'm the one who will ask you, okay. All right. So preparing for the interview, first of all, you should know your audience. In this case, you don't have any audience, it's just your friends, or not your friends. Basically, in the real world, they are not your friends, they will be strangers sitting next to you, they will be your competitors. Remember that I said, I have a problem with the inferiority level, okay. That was the case when I took the, what we call that, the interview at that particular time, all right. Know the exact location and time of the interview. Remember, next week we will be in groups, okay. Make sure that you are attending according to the groups. Later on this evening, all right, I'm recording this thing on Thursday, all right, so should be on Thursday evening. I will be, what we call that, giving you some instructions in the WhatsApp group. So which group should goes first, and you should come to the class. And before that, you don't have to come to the class, you just have to come to the class like at that particular time, all right. I don't want many people in that area, all right. And maybe if it is too long, we should divide into week 7 and week 8, all right, 7 and 8. Okay, assemble relevant personal information, okay. Be enthusiastic but sincere, all right. Remember keberkatan, okay. Plan on arriving at least 15 minutes before the interview. It does not apply in this case, you just have to wait like 10 minutes before, all right. Prepare some questions to ask during the interview. Prepare some answers for the obvious questions. What is the meaning of obvious questions here? Example is, tell me about yourself. Okay, appearance. Okay, for the appearance, this one I particularly take note on this one. Okay, first impression is very important, so that next week for the interview session, please come just like you are going for the real interview, all right. If you want to wear a blazer, go on, but you don't want, I don't actually ask for the blazer or whatsoever. Blazer does not give extra marks, okay. But if you think wearing a blazer could give you some confidence, some people do, all right, maybe you can bring one, okay. Dress up and wear professional clothing, all right, the one that I said. Remember, for girls, all right, if you want to wear blazer, don't wear with baju kurung, wear with something um, what we call that, the one we discussed before, okay. Kena etiquette dia kena betul. Alright, ensure that your clothes are clean and neat, iron, okay. For guys, make sure your clothes are iron. Alright, shoes should be clean and polished. If you are not wearing black shoes or leather, you don't have to go on with this kind of polishing stuff. But if you are wearing that's what I mean, okay. So you can dress up semi casual. We cannot say that casual, but we could say that semi casual. Just like when I don't follow my dress up, okay. I already got a job, okay. I'm teaching in the UTHM. So you are going for the interview, alright. Orang yang dah kerja dengan orang yang pergi interview ni lain, dia punya protokol. So when I was going for my interview, I did like that as well. So jangan cuba compare baju yang saya pakai dengan baju yang awak pakai, alright. Ada benda awak boleh ikut apa yang saya cakap. Contoh, ada benda saya tak boleh contoh untuk awak, especially about the tire, alright. Nails must be clean and well manicured. Okay, this one is very important, alright, because sometimes there are interviewers yang tengok atas bawah. Alright, they are looking up and down, judging you, evaluating you at the same time whether we should accept you or not. And kuku ni salah satu benda yang diorang tengok for your personal hygiene. Alright, so make sure that it is well manicured. Okay, what to wear for the job interview? As you can see from the this is just for the example. For Muslims, ni bukan cara yang betul lah untuk perempuan. Okay, awak ada cara awak sendiri, so you know how to do. For Muslimah actually, alright, you know how to dress up decently. Alright, decent tu maksudnya awak faham lah apa. Alright, jangan pakai terlampau ketat, jangan pakai terlampau longgar, jangan pakai yang mencolok mata dan sebagainya. For non-Muslim, make sure that you are wearing the skirt below your knees level. I think you already know about this, alright. What we call that in the dress code for the UTHM students, right? Okay, for the guys, we already discussed about this attire before. Okay, about wearing a blazer, how do you button the blazer, how do you wear a tie, two types tie knot, and so on and so forth. So I'm expecting that you are going, what we call that, full blast for your attire next week, alright, in terms of the formality or in terms of awak pandai-pandai lah, bayangkan awak nak pergi interview macam mana. Saya tak nak judge awak sangat, because there will be no that they are what we call that marks for the attire, but it's just whether it is suitable or not suitable. So if let's say we already discussed in this class before, the one that we said, if you are applying for site engineer, you don't have to wear blazer, isn't it? You just have to wear casually, semi-casually, not too casual, because there are two types of casual: elegant casual and too casual. If you're wearing too casual, it means like you are wearing like me, okay, when I'm going to the class. So you should come up with certain degrees of formality. Alright, awak pun faham, kita dah discuss minggu lepas, okay. Alright, so these are the ones for do's and don'ts, okay. Baju tu jangan terlebih besar sangat dan baju jangan terkecil sangat, okay. So this is how you wear your attire if you want to wear like this one, okay. So I don't want to go too much on this one, because we already discussed in the classroom before, and I think common sense, you know what you should wear, okay. For example, the guy on the don't part, this one, okay, I'm not sure whether you're okay for this one. Are you looking at the, okay, for this one you can see they are not tucked in dan sebagainya. Saya tuck in memang saya menyampah, saya cakap tu terang. Tapi kalau you want to go for the interview, you have to wear whatever things that you need to wear. Alright, so yes, as I said, too casual for any interview. So these are the attire for women, okay, plus scarf for Muslimah. So this is how you are wearing, okay. Don't wear like you are going to the mall. Don't wear too much makeup, alright. Don't wear too much, as I said before, about the perfume and things like that, okay. So make sure you are wearing it like, you know, not excessively, okay, not excessively, okay. So these are the one, for example, okay. Alright, pre-interview checklist, you can see, find out all about, you can know about the company, prepare some questions to ask the interviewer, you don't have to think about this, decide what to wear, iron your clothes and place them aside, of course, the night before, whatsoever, put aside copies of your resume, you don't have to think about this, map to the interviewer's office, okay, map to means make ways or whatsoever, and have a good night's sleep, okay. This is just for the formality, what we call that, the checklist that you have to do. Okay, this one is very important. This one is very, very important. On the interview day, good oral hygiene. Okay, good oral hygiene ni maksudnya apa? For those who are smoking, make sure that you don't smoke before you go for the interview. Alright, there are two types of smoker, okay. The first one ni, dia memang selekeh. Ada smoker yang sangat selekeh, bila merokok, asap dia tu biar dekat badan dan bau badan bau rokok dan sebagainya, merokok dalam tandas. You're smoking in the toilet, okay, you would know that. Kalau dalam bahasa Jawanya apa call sumpek, macam tu lah, macam you cannot breathe, and then there will be no air circulation, and all the smell will go straight into your shirt. But the other type of smoker, ada cara dia asap keluar, I mean away from your body, alright. So for those smokers who are going for the interview, make sure that you don't, nak senang, you don't smoke before you go for the interview, alright. Good oral hygiene, nanti bau rokok dan sebagainya, benda tu memang menyusahkan, okay. I've been, yesterday or last 2 days, I went for to get the breakfast, and then I want to buy the nasi lemak. Right, I went to this shop, and then suddenly there was a guy came next to me, standing up next to me. I thought bau ni datang daripada mana? Sangat busuk, yang bau badan yang busuk. Alright, and then I was standing next to him, and bau tu sangat is very strong smell. So make sure that you macam mana nak cakap you are adults already, so you know how to get rid of those bau. Maybe awak jenis badan berbau, then think of the solution. Alright, wear some deodorants and whatsoever. If you want to know, I don't have to talk about this anymore because you are university students. But the experience that I had last 2 days, the one of the university students yang standing next to me, bau yang macam tu. So I think I need to give some heads up for you guys to somehow think of your body odor and sebagainya. Alright, have a good shower. Hairstyle must be neat and well groomed. Tak payah nak ranggi-ranggi sangat, rambut ke depan lah bagai. Please, saya paling menyampah benda tu. So ikut suka saya lah saya nak bagi markah macam mana. Okay, I'm the interviewer. So kalau awak rasa rambut macam Noh Hujan tu bagus, cantik sangat, I don't like that actually. Alright, kalau rambut panjang, make sure rambut tu tersisir rapi. Saya dulu pernah rambut panjang. I can even show you some of my pictures when I was in overseas, studied in overseas. Then the rambut is well managed. Okay, jangan budget macam nak cool sangat dengan rambut yang macam tu dan sebagainya. Okay, use minimal fragrance, a light touch or natural makeup. This one I think only applies for girls. Untuk lelaki, make sure muka tak berminyak sangat dan sebagainya. Alright, make sure the tie is neat. Final check, go to the restroom before your interview session to ensure that you look the best. And of course, be punctual. Alright, during the interview checklist, greet your interviewer, smile, handshake. Alright, for men to men, women to women, you can do some handshake. But I think after COVID, we are afraid of doing this, right? So maybe smile would be suffice. Okay, and put your hand on the chest, maybe to show that you are doing the virtual handshake. Okay, body language, maintain eye contact, good posture, smile, don't shake hands or feet. For example, there are certain people who are sitting without doing nothing, nanti tangan dia gerak-gerak kan, macam gerak-gerak, kaki gerak-gerak dan sebagainya, macam orang tahan nak pergi toilet dan sebagainya. Okay, so don't do like that. Okay, you have to be firm, very confident, and you are ready to answer any questions possible. Okay, answer in a clear, simple language and audible, confident tone. As I said, if you don't belong, or if you don't have any accent, if you don't fall to any accent, don't try to come up with accent, or don't try to mock any accent. All right, otherwise you will look stupid. Just speak plain English and something that I can understand and the other people can understand. All right, for this one. Okay, this one based on research. It's not like I'm not like merely saying this. Okay, according to the Account Times, 38% of the supervisors say that a handwritten thank you note is a good idea, while 87% that email thank you note is okay. So it's either you say thank you to the supervisor or to the interviewer, or right after that you could say something like, whether I get the post or not, or whether I get the position or not, I would like to say, or I would like to thank you, to thank for the opportunity for the interview. All right, send them a thank you note with an email. All right, I think that would be very, for the person who are interviewing you. First of all, psychologically, dia akan buat nama awak tu subconsciously termasuk dekat dalam kepala dia waktu dia buat pemilihan. Okay, ada juga yang mengatakan, when you say something nice to people, what we call that, technically or naturally, we would fall into the names. So basically, sending the thank you note using an email is a very good idea, and I would say that. Okay, thank you the interview by sending them an appreciation letter. Right now, letter is obsolete. Next one, follow up on application status via phone call. I just had a sharing session with a person who just joined the CEO at faculty with MRT Corporation. So I don't want to talk about that in the video, but if you could give me what we call that, if you could remind me when we are in the class, there are some of what we call that, some of the things that I've got from her that are very important to share with you guys. So later on bila kita kat kelas, tolong ingatkan saya so that I can share with you guys. Takut saya lupa. Next one, types of interview. Applicants generally go through two kinds of employment interviews. They are screening and hiring or placement. Okay, so basically these are the one that we discussed on the first one, which is types of interview. They do have screening. They do have what we call that. First of all, taking all the resumes and everything, and after that, screen one by one. Look at the most, what we call that, possible candidates, and after that, go to the second screening. Try to putting out names, the one that we think that they are not related dan sebagainya. And the one that my friend shared in the MRT Corporation, it's about the screening. Nanti saya akan cerita kat kelas. Screening sangat banyak, macam mana dia orang buat, how do they filter each names, how do they do this, how do they do that, and the most important part is the keyword. Okay, and that particular doctor, alright, my colleague, alright, Dr. Mimi, she went to the LinkedIn, okay, LinkedIn office, Malaysian branch, okay, Malaysia's branch. So they have some discussion on how to, what we call that, how to be highlighted in the linked account. Okay, so nanti saya akan share lah, nanti saya akan share dekat kelas. Cuma ni saya takut saya lupa. Kalau awak tak ingatkan, saya takkan share lah. Takut saya terlupa. Alright, so just remind me about that because those things are very, very important. Okay. Next one, do's and don'ts for the job interviews. I don't think this one we should discuss one by one, but as I said, in common sense, there are things that we discussed before in the previous week, what to do, what not to do. So frequent eye contact, interviews late, jangan jawab merapu bila interview, tak nak jawapan tu jangan cuba bagi dan sebagainya. Don't try to be don't try to be, don't try to look good, all right, by condemning others. All right, for example, if you come in a group like five of you, and then you try to be like very outspokenly saying that I'm good at this, I'm good at that, and blah 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 blah, seeming that orang lain tu tak bagus. Okay, awak boleh cakap macam tu tetapi jangan burukkan orang lain. So try to come up with a very plain, humble answers, because we should know that if that kind of people macam tu, dia akan jadi tak cantik lah. Alright, maksudnya there will be a scissors in the cloth. Okay, ada tak dalam bahasa Inggeris macam tu? Mungkin tak ada kot, tapi dalam ni gunting dalam lipatan. Explain wherever possible and tell things about yourself which relate to the position. Only related with the position. Don't talk about your marriage. Don't talk about your life. Don't talk about your ups and downs in life and whatsoever. This is not Dr. Phil. This is not Oprah show. This is not apa lagi, cerita-cerita yang nak curhat-curhat or whatsoever. No, this is all about professionalism. This is all about what you can do and what you cannot do, and this is all about being competent at that particular job description. Okay, so I think that would be the end. The last one would be the don'ts dan sebagainya. During the interview, do not inquire about salary, vacation, bonuses in the initial interview. Okay, saya cakap tadi boleh tanya. Maksud dekat sini, jangan tanya in the initial interview. Don't ask straight away, masuk-masuk je, hi, Assalamualaikum, and then boleh kata-kata, okay, can I know how much salary should I get if I get the position? Jangan terus pergi macam itu. Salary is important, but to hook them with your skills is way more important than talking about the salary. So just for example, you should evaluate and you should let them evaluate you by telling them your successful stories related with the job description. And by the end, okay, the interviewer should know that we should hire you, and it is a loss if we don't hire you as our staff. By that particular time, there will be a demand. Dekat situlah then you can talk about the salary. Okay, but play it nicely. Alright, umpama awak memancing ikan, tarik kuat sangat ikan terlepas, lepas sangat ikan pun terlepas. So you need to stay on the leash. Okay, you need to stay on the leash, you need to stay on the string dan sebagainya. Okay, saya tak tahu awak faham ke tidak, tapi ini life experience. So awak akan faham whenever you are, what we call that, when you are doing the process many times dan sebagainya. Okay, alright. So wow, you have 3 master's degrees and a PhD. Yes, it's all very impressive. But interestingly, I have no common sense whatsoever. That's not the sort of thing that you should say during a job interview. I don't see why not. Ha, macam tu. Okay, so basically ni antara jawapan-jawapan yang kurang cerdik. Okay, so basically macam tu lah. Alright, and again there will be a question like, so where do you see yourself in 5 months, in 5 years? The one that we discussed before, don't talk about having kids or whatsoever. Alright, so these are the questions. But I think in the internet there will be so many questions. Alright, there will be so many questions on those 3 types of questions that we discussed before. Traditional, second one is behavioral questions, the last one is situational questions. Personally, I would love to go for situational questions, alright, because I would love to see how you would justify if you are at that particular position in that particular situation. So kebanyakan soalan saya would be leading or leaning towards situational. But tengoklah mood saya nak tanya apa minggu depan. So I think you should be ready on how to answers. And you cannot be ready much pun sebab you know it takes time for a person to be fluent in answering a question. So but next week for the assessment, that will be a very good what we call that, an interesting platform for you to somehow practice and see where do you belong, which level that you are belong. Okay, so next time awak nak improve kat mana dan sebagainya, and I will give you comments on that one. So I think that's all for this video. I'm very sorry the video is posted at the last day of the week, but honestly I don't have time to record a video, and this one pun saya curi-curi untuk buat video, and I believe the video would somehow not demanding you to do anything. It's just for the added value, the continuation from last week's classes, last week's lecture, for you to add some information for you to get ready for the interview assessment next week. So I think that's all. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please don't ask personally to my personal number. Please ask in the group so that I could answer what we call that synchronously to the others as well. Okay, so next week will be the interview assessment. We'll meet you there. I will try to arrange the time, the what we call that, the groups. I think maybe we can have like half, and then next week half. Okay, but if we can finish all of them, I don't think we can finish all of them. I don't have any stamina, I don't have any fitness to go until the end, 3 hours for the 3 hours. So maybe we could just go like half 20 people, so 4 groups. After that, then we'll shoot with another topic. All right, so I think that's all. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye bye. Assalamualaikum.